What you weigh on any given day doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, the scale went up 2 pounds overnight. All right, real talk. I'm not usually one to like throwing around the word secret when it comes to fitness. Like, none of these things are really secrets, but I feel like this one actually is. So I'm gonna tell you, which I guess then makes it not so secretive. Secret's out. What you weigh on any given day. What you weigh on any given day doesn't matter. I almost want to just end the video there, but that doesn't quite get the point across, right? So, all the time, literally all the time, if not daily, at least weekly, I'm having people message me, be it a text, be it a DM, be it an email, with some sort of frustration or worry or concern because the scale went up 2 pounds. Well, it actually didn't. But we'll get more to that in a second. Listen, I know the scale can be super annoying. It can be super frustrating. Even for me, like, you're trying to do things and the scale's like laughing at you when things aren't going the way you had hoped or planned or expected. Like, it's annoying. The scale kind of sucks sometimes. But the scale's important because it provides data so that you can know whether or not what you're doing is working. And it's important to remember that because the scale and anything it ever says is nothing more than just data. And we should not give it more power than it deserves. Only problem is, just about everyone gives it more power than it deserves. So by kind of remembering, by keeping in mind the fact that what the scale says on any given day does not matter can help take away some of that power. Now, some people will recommend weighing yourself less often to take away the power of that scale. And I don't think that's more effective. Like, yes, I get it. Getting on the scale every day can feel like a chore. It can feel discouraging. It can be annoying. And like, maybe you just need to like give it the finger and get off it sometimes. Like, that's fine. But if you're only weighing yourself once a week or only weighing yourself once a month, like, you're really not getting a good snapshot of the progress you may or may not be making. And therefore you won't be able to adjust your programming accordingly. And that's really what it's about. It's like the scale is not, like, your worth and value as a person is not dictated by some silly numbers on a scale. The worth and value of your fitness program is not dictated by some silly numbers on a scale. And your progress is not dictated by some silly numbers on a scale. One, there are lots more metrics to track progress than the scale. If you're feeling better, that's a win. If you're sleeping better, that's a win. If you're looking better in the mirror, that's a win. If you're fitting into your favorite jeans again, that's a win. Like, don't neglect the other wins just because one metric is maybe being stubborn. Not only does it not define your progress or you or your program, or it doesn't define anything, it's just a data point, but not only that, it's also very easily skewed. And that leads to the first action step. So let's say the scale goes up 2 pounds overnight. And you're freaking out looking at the stupid number that's going up, even though you're trying so hard to get it to go down. Let's say that happened. Let's say you saw the scale fluctuate up by 2 pounds overnight. The first thing I want you to do, if you've seen that fluctuation up and you're super frustrated, disappointed, and you're like, what is going on? Like, obviously, one, I guess, remember that your weight on any given day doesn't actually matter. But then the action step to help like really put that into practice is to recognize the fact that you didn't actually gain 2 pounds. The body just doesn't work that way. You won't gain that much weight overnight. Scientifically speaking, a pound worth of fat or anything, a pound, 1 pound is the equivalent of 3,500 calories. So in order to gain 2 pounds overnight, you would have had to overeat by 7,000 calories on top of however many calories you were already having that day. Now, because you're here on YouTube and watching me talk, it's entirely possible you've watched some videos on YouTube about people trying to eat that many calories in a single day and struggling, usually failing on that sort of like 10,000 calorie challenge. So like, you didn't gain 2 pounds. Just, you didn't. So articulate. But like, you didn't. What happens is you're maybe retaining more water, and there are all sorts of different reasons why that can happen. Stress can be a part of it, or even just maybe having a few extra grams of carbs can do that, because carbohydrates get broken down into muscle glycogen. Our muscles absorb muscle glycogen, and we use that as energy. But just scientifically speaking, when we absorb that muscle glycogen, for every gram of glycogen our muscles absorb, there are also about 2.7 grams of water absorbed. And I don't know if you've ever like had to carry a case of water bottles into your house. That gets heavy. And that's in your body. Like 2 pounds seems almost easy to see ups and downs and swings and weirdness. So like, if you gained to 2 pounds overnight, unless you overate by 7,000 plus on the calories, you didn't actually gain 2 pounds. And even if you did overeat by 7,000 calories, like, we don't live in a vacuum. You wouldn't just instantly and immediately pack all those pounds on overnight. Like, that, it just wouldn't work that way. So recognize that you didn't actually gain 2 pounds. And then the second action step, the second thing to do when you're finding yourself getting frustrated about what the scale says on a day-to-day basis, is to zoom out. So anyone that I'm coaching, I'm rarely ever looking at the day-to-day changes on the scale. I'm looking at the trend. And the best way, or the easiest, the simplest way to watch that trend is to take a weekly weight average every week and see what your weight average was, because that's going to kind of automatically adjust for any of the fluctuations up or down that you may see throughout the week. And then it's going to give you your average, which is going to be closer to your true weight overall. And then week to week, you compare average to average, and you see the change. You see the trend with like a lot less volatility than you'll see on the day-to-day, which can, like, it's so easy to get caught up, so easy to get in our own heads about that volatility, the ups, the downs, the, oh my gosh, 2 pounds. Like, that's really easy to get worked up about. I've been there. We've all been there. So by just looking at those day-to-day things as data collection for the number that really matters, which is that weekly weight average, and then comparing that average to the week before, that will give you a better idea of your trend, your overall progress. I mean, you're still not going to hit it out of the park every week, even on the weekly weight average. Sometimes it'll be steady. Sometimes it may even go up. But like, that's going to give you a much more true reading, a much more helpful reading as far as the metric is concerned. And then you can really track your progress more appropriately. And then those day-to-day fluctuations on the scale, which are inevitable, like that, there's no super cool trick to avoid fluctuations on it. Like, they're just going to happen. If we're able to focus more on that weekly weight average, we're going to be less caught up in the day-to-day changes that happen on the scale. And that is going to allow you to actually internalize the fact that the scale does not matter. Like, what you weigh on any given day doesn't matter at all once you start looking at those weekly weight averages and seeing the trend. So do that. The next time the scale is annoying, which is, I don't know, for all I know, it's tomorrow morning, just remember that. Like, what you weigh on any given day doesn't matter. What does matter is the overall trend, your weekly weight average compared to the week before. Honestly, so I wanna create a scale that doesn't tell you what you weigh that day, but saves the last 7 days worth of weigh-ins and then just spits out the weekly average, so that the volatility's gone. You're getting a pretty decent representation of where you're at weight-wise, and it will change, but it's not going to be so subject just to big swings up or down. You'll have a more steady trend. I just think that would be really cool. I feel like we have the technology. So if you're in the tech world and want to, I don't know, shoot me a message. But anyway, what matters more is keeping track of that trend. Keeping track of the progress you're actually making and not getting too caught up in the minutia of the day-to-day, because that's a surefire way to get frustrated. Alright, so thanks for watching. As you've maybe noticed by now, this is actually a series where I dive into 5 of the 5 of the things I say most often in my coaching. If I'm saying them in my coaching, the rest of the world could probably benefit from hearing it as well. That's why I wanted to create this series. I'm gonna drip them out one by one, and then I'm actually gonna put them all together in a more condensed kind of compilation style video as well. So if you liked what I had to say today, one, go ahead and like it, like literally like the video, but also go ahead and share it with people that you think might also benefit from hearing these nuggets of truth that I share with the people that I coach to help them love food, be fit, and make progress. And then keep your eyes peeled for the next one. This was one part of 5 total, so make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're liking this stuff so you don't miss the next ones. Really appreciate you watching. I don't know, these are all things that I say so often in my coaching, and as such, I think they're things that need to be said more often in fitness at large. So I hope you were able to get something out of this. Feel free to share it with anyone and everyone and help people make the progress that is so elusive in this world of fitness.